What's up, everybody? Welcome out to our 6 o'clock live stream.
Woo! Pull it over.
Hope you all had a great holiday. If you're in the States, if you're not in the States, I hope you had a great Thursday. uh, I had a good holiday myself, man. Got to hang out with family and friends and thoroughly enjoyed it. And, you know, sucks. I'm not looking forward to going back to work tomorrow. I don't think anybody ever is, but especially after holiday. I mean, I know you've been working, so it's I have the whole week of Christmas off though,
Nice.
so I'm amped, man. I'm pretty much gonna edit.
So I'm happy that this is the last Thanksgiving I have to eat turkey because I can't stand turkey. I don't like it. And
Yeah, man.
so last year I said to my mom, I'm like, listen, I'm not eating turkey anymore. You guys can have turkey. I'm gonna cook myself cheeseburgers. But then my stepdad passed away, so I was like, all right, we'll hold off till we will hold off, with the cheeseburgers till next year.
A cheeseburger Christmas
Cheeseburger Thanksgiving,
or
yeah.
Thanksgiving.
I'm not going to eat anything I don't want to eat anymore ever again.
Gonna start calling you Randy from the
Yeah,
Trailer Park Boys.
absolutely.
Hey, you know it's crazy, man. Did I send you that? The Sam Squanch, the dude from Sam from the Trailer Park Boys. He actually followed me on Instagram.
You told me, but you didn't.
Yeah, dude. He's the
Yeah.
guy that was he was the Sam Squanch. They thought he was a Sasquatch that lived in the woods. The dude Sam. Yeah, man. He followed me on Instagram, which was cool. Um,
So growing up, right, for Christmas, speaking of, did you have at my house it was fish, white fish.
for
Not
Christmas.
Yeah, not the seven fishes, not the Italian seven fishes, but just Eastern European, Polish white fish in like a milk sauce
Yeah.
or milk and flour sauce.
So
Lots of salt.
I forget what they're called, man. It starts with that schmoo. I don't remember, but nah. We did like kibasi, pierogies, that kind of stuff.
So good.
Um, and then
Pierogies.
for Christmas Eve, we usually do like some seafood, but we don't not necessarily fish, man. Like I don't because I don't like fish. I think fish is disgusting.
All fish across the board?
Yeah. I mean, I could probably do salmon, and I could probably do like flounder, like fish and chips. But other than that, that's it, man.
No fried catfish, nothing?
Negative Ghost Rider.
Wow.
I used to like it as a kid, man, and then I had an incident where I got pretty sick on fish, and that was pretty much it, man. Haven't been able to eat it since. So I'm a lobster, scallops, shrimp, that kind of stuff. Uh, you know, not to sound all bougie or whatever, because that's what it's in my head. That's what I went. Jesus, dude, you sound like you're all bougie, but I'm not. It's just I can't. I don't know. It's a flavor slash texture
Texture.
thing.
Yeah, that's why I don't like filet mignon.
Okay.
I don't like a big apple-sized hunk of steak.
Okay.
It's just
Some people aren't, man. I mean,
yeah,
especially if you've had it and it's not cooked right.
yeah.
Anyhow, I know we only do Thanksgiving in the States. I know, UK and all that. They don't do it. So they have their other holidays. I think Canada does like their Thanksgiving is like in October or something. They call it something else too. I forget. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Anyhow,
Are they allowed to have holidays in Canada anymore, or is that illegal now?
those sons of bitches. Sorry, Sarah, but you guys got a holiday every goddamn month. Every month you have a holiday.
Every month?
Meanwhile, the rest of us got to tough it out. We get, 6 a year, or whatever. Canada, one every month, and they're making shit up. Family Day, Tree Day.
Nice.
I mean, it's crazy.
No reason day.
Just a day. Day ends in Y. We're gonna have a holiday.
Nice, dude.
Yeah. Anyhow, so we got two topics tonight that we're gonna talk about. Oh wow, Tobias, thank you, man.
Tobias, thank you.
With the $20 super chat.
Wow, thank
My
you.
man, thank you so much. And he just said, stoked to be here. So glad I found it. Thanks for putting on a badass podcast. Ah, dude, thank you, man.
Thank you.
Much appreciated. And we'll get it to notes in a minute. But he said, uh, got your bar in, mate. Looks great. Just shoot me a message where you want it to send. So he's got my Loud Hardy bar.
Nice, dude.
I'm amped. I'm amped. Can't wait to see it, dude. We'll get into Christmas in a second, but I want to talk about some other stuff. We got two topics to talk about tonight. One of them is strictly tattooing, and it's about a post I saw uh, on line thickness. Um, I showed it to Justin. He thought it was a great topic to bring up tonight. It's one of those topics that I kind of wished more people would see because I think there's a lot of people that um, don't understand spreading of lines, thickness of lines, how time, changes things. So I think it's a really good topic for tonight. And then we have a, you know, crazy, weird topic. Gonna just say right off the bat, we're gonna try to skate around the YouTube censorship stuff, and we're gonna say, initials of words or whatever, so we don't get ourselves dinged up.
And
And
it may be triggering.
it may be triggering for some people. Also, if you have kids in the room, maybe this isn't the podcast that you want to listen to with them in the room. We will again stay away from any words that we shouldn't be using and stuff like that. But I think it's a pretty crazy topic that needs to be brought up. It needs to be shined a light on. It was actually I saw it posted by Shane Enholm, and then I dug into the topic a little bit more, and we're going to talk about that tonight. So it's a crazy story. Um, I kind of dug into it thinking that there was more to it than what there was. Doesn't really seem that way, so we'll get into that in a minute, man. Let's give shout outs to our OGs that are hanging out with us tonight. We got Chris Hawkins hanging out. Tobias actually he said actually made it on time tonight. And just so everybody knows, Tobias is Almanac Metals, the guy that was doing the Loud Hardy bars, and he's got a couple of really cool ones, man. I saw him; he had one that had actual human skull in it. I was like, wow, that's pretty awesome. Uh, so Chris Hawkins, we got Luz. Luz is hanging out with us tonight. What's up, amigo? We got Nikki, our moderator, and we got Tom hanging out, and Bill O'Connell. How you doing, Bill? Nice to see you in. Chris Hawkins said, Julian. I was talking about the Trailer Park Boys. Dude, I can't wait to see the new Trailer Park movie. I don't ever pay to go to the movies, and I am gonna pay to go to the movies to see this. It's about Bubbles and the Shit Rockers. They tour the
Dude,
country.
I
Oh my god, dude! I forgot you never seen it.
I don't know.
You got to at least watch the episode where Rush is in it.
The nearest I've ever seen is the sea shanty. There once was a man.
Yeah. Dude, that's hysterical, man. All right, y'all ready to hear this story? Actually, Sarah's not on, and she said she was all amped to hear this story tonight. So,
What about the lines?
well, nah, about the FBI agent thing.
Do you want to do the lines first and then do the FBI agent thing?
Yeah, we could do that. We could do that. Show hands, guys. You want to do the line thickness story first? Yes, no. Anyone? Peace. Fat Cracker's not on either. What's up with him, man? He might be in the middle of doing a project though, man. I didn't talk to him this week. You know what? We can talk about that real quick. So Fat Cracker actually sent me this thing, and I couldn't figure out how to download it because I'm a dumbass. I probably could have did a screen record. Um, he sent it to me. It was from that Clayton Ellis dude, Clayton from New York City.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I have one of his books.
yeah. Well, we saw him up at the
Up in New
TatCon,
York,
right?
yeah.
And I'm fairly sure that we saw Shane Enholm tattooing the Black Panther on him at TatCon. I could be wrong about that, but anyhow, um, it was a cool little thing that Clayton did, where he was talking about what you and I talk about all the time. he flat out says, "Hey, man, might not be the best tattoo, might not be the greatest tattoo I have, but it's about the experience of the tattoo. It's about the story behind the tattoo. It's a story about the guy that did the tattoo." And then he goes into the whole spiel about, Shane was a bank robber and, went to penitentiary and had the celly was the guy that called Horse, that was really the dude that kind of showed Jack Rudy and Good Time Charlie the black and gray
The
piece,
ropes. Yeah.
right? That kinda turned them on to the whole thing and blah, blah, blah. So, like, he's got that story, that thing behind it. It's not
Yeah.
about just going and banging out a tattoo and walking out handing your money and going out the door. It's the experience of it.
See, I sort of understand that because of Tom DeVita.
Okay.
Like so many people that I respect in tattooing just really had, you know, just really loved Tom DeVita's tattooing, and I never did.
Okay.
It just never appealed to me. But then, like when you dug into it a little bit,
And you
it
get to know about Tom.
it was like because Tom was such a character,
Yeah.
and getting tattooed in his apartment on the Lower East Side was like its own experience. Like,
Right, right.
yeah,
Actually, I thought about, um, doing an episode on him. I don't know, though. It's one of those ones that I've kicked around. Um, Definitely an interesting character, but I just thought I'd bring that up, man. I mean, I think that that's something we talk about that a lot, and I know other people think that and have the same thought process. And I think that, you know, more people need to be into that. I don't know. It's just my own personal thought, man. I'm not trying to tell everybody how to, you know what I mean? Hey, look, dude, if you're into that's what you want to see is this tattoo and that's what I want, then so be it. You know what I mean? That's cool. To me, I like the whole
I mean, I had a friend of mine.
experience.
I had a friend of mine who his letters were a little,
Wonky.
and I got plenty of tattoos from him because he had good stories.
Yeah. Okay, let's get into this. So I'm gonna bring it up real quick and show you the picture that kind of kicked this off. Um, and I think this will be interesting for you to see because Justin and I have actually talked about this on a couple different occasions, and we've also had this discussion with like Mike Schwager. Um, Him and I and the three of us had this conversation while we were in a shop one day. So let's pull this up. So this post is the truth about growing lines. And on the far left, you could see where this is a freshly done tattoo and how thin and crisp the lines are. And then as it heals, gets a little thicker. And then you get to the 2 to 5 year time frame, even thicker. And then you go into 10 plus years and the lines spread even more. So if a tattoo artist is telling you, hey, look, you don't want to do those lines thicker in that area, or your tattoo can't be that small because eventually it's going to look like crap because the lines spread, then there's a reason why. Now, I don't know if you could see it at the bottom because my screen kind of covers it up a little bit, but it says everybody and skin type is different. Some will grow faster than others. Uh, you just need to understand that your skin is constantly growing and moving.
And we're not talking about line weight used in like new school tattoos or graffiti style tattoos where they'll like double and triple the line to give it weight and depth.
Right.
We're talking about just sort of doing an outline on a tattoo, and the skin ages. In the end, the dermis ages.
Right.
It's not static,
Right.
and you have so much happening in your skin, right? You have your shedding skin, the blood vessels, the subcutaneous fat layers. I mean, it's an organism, So of course there's going to be changes.
So this actually came up, and I blacked out some of the names because I wasn't sure if they, wanted their name attached to it or whatever. So the original person that posted it, and then I also blacked out the names of the people that commented, and I wanted to bring that up real quick. So let me do that. And because there was a lot of comments on this post, but I thought these were like the most valuable. I cannot talk today, man.
Valuable.
Comments for the conversation that we wanted to talk about, right? Um, so the first person said, "Say it louder for the kids in the back, popping 14 rounds. It'll look 20 years old in 20 years. Now you need, or no need to rush the process."
Right.
So then,
Which is like what we had talked to Mike about,
right,
how when we were doing traditional work, you know, 10, 20 years ago, we wanted the traditional work to have that thick outline, not realizing that the guys that we idolized, when they had done the tattoos, they'd done them with like sevens, but just that thick outline just came over time,
right,
especially considering that they were using pigmented black. So there's a difference between polymers and pigments. So it's a foreign substance in the skin. The pigment sits under the pigment sits under the epidermis or in the epidermis. I forget. I'm not a science guy, and I think that that was more likely to spread than maybe the polymer based inks.
okay.
But like so much of the polymer based inks, we don't know yet.
So I guess where I'm going with this is back in the day when I didn't really know as much about tattooing, and I'd be like, "Well, I want it to look like that," and the guy would be like, "No, we need to make it crisper and tighter." And you'd be like, "Well, that's not what I want," and they would be like, "Well, it'll take some time, but it's gonna get there." And it's one of those things where we know that now, older, wiser, whatever. But if people were to understand this at the beginning, it would make everybody's life a hell of a lot easier.
So I remember some years ago,
I'm gonna take this down so we can.
I tattooed a guy's hand, and then over across his knuckles, he wanted something like spiritual determination
Okay,
added. And
that's a lot of words.
I'm like, we can't put spiritual determination across the width of your hand.
Okay,
Like, even if it's done in a single line, single needle, it's going to spread and it's going to change. And so we argued back and forth about this for about 45 minutes, to the point where what I did is I I typed up like an extra release. Like, I insist on getting this tattoo against, against the tattoo artist's uh,
recommendation.
recommendation. I take full responsibility for how this is going to turn out. And yeah, the dude wanted spiritual determination. So,
So, um,
but he wouldn't trust me that, you know,
to add to that, though, it doesn't stop there because there's other people that chimed in on this. And this one person said, "I disagree. I've been tattooing 50-plus-year-old tattoos that still look as crispy fine as the day they were tattooed. It's all about the depth control. If you get in the right layer, it will hold pretty well over time.
how many he's been tattooing for 50 years?
I've seen 50-plus-year-old tattoos that still look as crispy fine as the day they were tattooed." So,
I'm gonna.
okay. Then the next person said, "Depth plus health is going to hold up better in healthy skin than a skin that's been beat from the sun exposure, lifestyle, and whatever." Now, we all know that part to be true, right? That's why they tell you you're supposed to use sunblock.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the only reasons I. Uh, so with the environmental thing, I'm not sure. It's above my pay grade.
Okay.
The Earth is warming or cooling or the glaciers or whatever. But I know that now the sun kills tattoos way worse than it did when I started.
Now, is that the type of ink though?
I don't think so. I just think,
Just hotter sun.
yeah,
Okay. So, I mean, those are factors that you need to take into consideration, just like you need to take into consideration, like your skin condition. You know, people that aren't drinking enough water, that have dry, ashy, nasty skin.
ashy. Are you ashy?
Yeah, I am, dude. I am. I do not drink enough water. But surprisingly, I do.
You
I
don't
do.
moisturize? You don't know a vino?
Nah, dude. Not after my tattoos healed. I mean, you know what though? I do take care of my tattoos as far as doing sunscreen, especially when I'm riding. If I'm riding, man, I will put sunscreen on my tattoos because first of all, my tattoos cook in the sun anyway. So I do that.
So, not mentioning any brands, but what's your take on these, like, after healing balms and lotions that are being sold back and forth
So
to brighten the tattoo and
I don't think that I don't want to ever put myself in a position where I would have to turn down a product placement to get paid for. But I can honestly say that I've only really tried one or two that I felt like worked. Um, I did try one that was like and I just tried it to see if it actually did work or not, right? I'm not going to say the name of the company because I don't want to put anybody out on Front Street, but um, it was supposed to be like a scrub that had some kind of like acid, I don't know, a healthy acid that was supposed to basically just take away dead skin, not burn your arm off. Not like you're shooting crocodile, right? It
what is this hole in my arm?
Yeah,
What happened?
but I really didn't. I don't think that would do anything more than what if you had like your old lady's loofah.
Do you ever shave your arms?
Yeah,
Yeah, I've shaved my arms a couple times, and that really
yeah, oh yeah, man, it
you can
makes a
see
huge
them
difference,
makes a
dude.
huge
When you
difference.
shave your arms, dude, and you don't have all that. Well, dude, I'm like a bear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, um,
Just
look,
as an aside,
just take
Buck
care of your
considered
tattoos.
Buck considered calling us 2 bears in a tattoo shop, but
Yeah,
we
man.
put but we thought we'd get a different audience if that was the case.
Yeah, definitely wouldn't have been the audience we have now. Sarah showed up. What's up, Sarah?
"What's up, Sarah?"
Drag showed up. Hey, Chris. Hey, Sarah and Buck and Justin and Nikki. He Drag said, "I need more skin for my blackout if it grows more. I have the experience if I work with a 7 round and bigger. It chance not much. It change not much. Small line get thicker. He's trying his best to do it in English for us, man. So I
Yes.
don't have to. Drag said maybe without sun and after 50 years, no way they are fresh. Bill
See,
O'Connell said, Bill, what's up, man? I missed you at the beginning.
so thinner, tighter needles are more unforgiving. They are more unforgiving.
Okay.
You're working with a single needle and you turn it sideways,
Blowout.
blows out. Yeah.
Okay. Bill O'Connell said, I've kept my skin out of the sun for 30 years. My ink has not seen the sun in 30 plus years. Yeah, man. I mean, Drag said, I'm like a vampire, no sun.
So I have 2 roses on the underside of my arm, and they were done by a really good tattooer at New York Adorn, Scott Harrison. But I mean, they're probably 15 years old now, but they're red. They're
Yeah.
still red.
Tobias said, my first tattoo was from Tattoo Bob in Endhoven, circa 2012. It's a perfect example of a professional tattoo artist addressing line drift. You can tell it's old because it's more blue than gray.
Mhm.
He said, but the lines are wider than when I got it, but there was space left for that. Right. So that's what I'm saying. Like when a tattoo artist says, hey, we can't shrink it down that small because it's gonna,
Do you know about the David statue in the Vatican?
no. I
Just
mean, I know of it,
so this
but I
is
don't know what story you're getting at.
so it's like what he was talking about with the room for the bigger lines. So David's head is disproportionate to his body because when it was sculpted, it was supposed to be put on a 20-foot pedestal, and who sculpted David? Michelangelo?
Eh,
Michelangelo? So, he knew that you would be seeing the feet at the 20-foot mark, and you wouldn't be seeing the head until 28 feet or whatever, and he compensated. He compensated. Like, that's how much of a genius he was. He made the head just that's amazing. But it's like what this dude was saying, you know, having room for the lines as they
So
grow.
as you go up, it's proportionate.
Yeah, so
Like,
if you're looking at the statue the way it was meant to be viewed, because the head is bigger, it looks in proportion from the ground.
hmm, did he do that with the twig and berries?
I don't know.
It's proportionate. Anyhow, Nikki the moderator said moisturizer after shower, sunscreen always. I prefer 100% cocoa butter. So there you go. Cocoa butter will definitely help your tattoos look crisper, brighter, uh, for sure. I think that that's one thing that I will say I could go, you know what? Yes, that works. Cocoa butter. But then you smell like cocoa butter.
I don't do anything like that.
Nah, well, look,
And when I heal them, I dry heal them, and there's nothing quite as fun as when you just run your finger under the edge of that little.
dude, that whole dry healing thing is just Um, all right, so there you go. We wanted to bring that up. That wanted to cover the first half, and that gave you enough room and time to get your little kids out of the room before we jump into this
Do you
next
think
subject.
guys that dry heal are the same kind of guys that drink black coffee and smoke unfiltered cigarettes?
Probably camel humps, no filters.
Men, men.
I yeah, man. I don't know how people can do that whole dry healing thing. I would constantly be worried. It's a stupid worry, but when if you're in between and you don't get a chance to slap some stuff on there and it gets that dry, it feels like it's gonna crack.
Yeah.
That to me, like I'm like thinking to myself, if it cracks, it's gonna look like shit.
So oddly enough, one of my friends, I tattooed him for years, and for the first couple years, he did everything conceivable, like all different healing ointments, all different like putting the hot pad on, the cold pad on, keeping the wrapping on, taking the wrapping. I mean, all of it, and he just never healed that well. And then finally, he just gave up and dry healed, and he heals perfectly.
So
Because
there
it
you go.
really is just individual. I absolutely believe it's person by person.
Just like we said before, man. Different tattoo artists give different advice on aftercare. Uh, Tattoos heal different person by person. Um, man, I think you just need to find out what's best for you and what works for you. And bottom line is, keep it clean. That's it.
Absolutely. Soap and water.
Keep it clean.
I
That's all you
gotta
got to do.
I gotta check to see if this is my kid.
Anything other than that, it comes down to personal preference and stuff like that. So, um, Fat Cracker shows up. What's up, man? 50 years, just as crispy. Cocaine is a hell of a drug. Bill O'Connell said, when I finished my sleeves, I had 12-year-old tattoos at the time. Bill Clayton recolored these old lines or old ones when he added the new stuff. That took about an extra 8 hours that could have been new ink.
So putting new tattoos next to old tattoos is like when you move your couch and you see what your carpet really looks like.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I love when I put new tattoos next to old tattoos.
Bill Clayton though, man. That's good stuff, dude. That's I think yeah, that's where Grimm, uh Art Lord of Grimm, that's where he tattoos out of down in North Carolina. Fat Cracker said Hustle Butter Deluxe for life.
Hustle butter.
Yeah, man. He's actually told me that before. He feels like that's the best for him. I mean, that's what
Is
he
that a healing thing or is that like a porn
that's a
thing?
no, that's that's a after your stuff is healed and you kind of want to give a little zhuzh. Drag said I tried everything too, but I am on second skin for 2 days after 4 times cream. That's the way he does it. Yeah, man. So I know people that do second skin and other people that hate it. I've tried both. I like it. It depends on where it's at, man. Like, I feel like if it's on an elbow or knee or somewhere that's gonna flex, it doesn't hold that well for me. I'm fat. I sweat. I don't feel like it holds real good on sweaty people. Um,
Do not use this product on sweaty people.
yeah. Fat Cracker said the beard oil is also amazing on tattoos. I use it on my face tattoos. It's vegan friendly.
I used it on my head today on accident.
Dude, I've been using it, man. I haven't shaved in 2 weeks, dude, and my beard is almost like ready to come in. Tom said I dry heal, but just because I'm lazy, haha. Just keep it clean. Your body knows what to do. There you go. Um, Bill said, Buck, that was 30 years ago. Justin, I'm getting new ink now next to 25 plus year old tattoos. I have Sanoderm on right now. Yeah. So, second skin, like I said, it works for some, doesn't work for others. I think it depends on where it's at and, if you're a sweaty guy or not.
I always, just out of curiosity, sooner or later I'm going to try the hot bath method just to see.
Well, I
Like,
don't do hot bath. I do hot compress.
right.
So it's the same principle.
Yeah.
And I mean, dude, my shit's really bright. Works for me.
The next time I get like a torso piece, I'm going to lay up in a hot bath.
I it works great for me, man. I don't know. Chris said I do second skin for a day and just keep it clean after that. Yeah.
Yeah, I let them dry and then I pick them.
Yeah, that's no bueno. Anyhow,
My
so
tattooers hate me.
um Shane Enholm posted a quick reel the other day and brought this up, and I asked Justin if it was worthy of bringing up and kicking around for you guys. Um, and I think it's a pretty crazy topic. And again, we're giving you fair warning if you get triggered by this kind of stuff, and you have kids around, might not be a good time. Tell them to go in the other room. Um,
You know that every kid that's listening to this just put their ear closer.
Yeah, we don't have any kids that listen to this, man. If you look at my stats, there's nobody below 21 years of age. Um, anyhow, so in Bethesda, Maryland, there was a FBI agent who held a supervisory position with the FBI
Mhm.
that decided he was going to be a tattoo artist. Now, I had to dig into this because I was like, well, wait a minute. Is that even legal? I was under the impression that FBI agents could not have like a secondary or job. They had to strictly do their thing. And this sucks, man, because I'm bringing this up and I'm like thinking to myself, dude, are you really digging yourself a hole here with this? I'm already on a list. I can't get on an airplane without getting the official pat down. Uh, but you know what? That's how we roll here. So we're going to do this. I got this. Our moderator, Nikki, was able to pull this up for us. She sent it to me. So let me get rid of the banner here real quick. Yes, FBI agents can own a secondary business, but they must first disclose it to the agency. It ensures it does not create conflicts of interest with the official duties as per federal ethics regulations and FBI policy. Key points to consider: disclosure is mandatory. Uh, so they have to tell them that they're doing this. So at this point, if he followed the rules, which come to find out, I don't think that's the case, this is bad. Okay. Conflict of interest concerns. The FBI will carefully evaluate the potential for conflicts between the agent's business interest and other official responsibilities, especially if the business involves individuals or organizations that could be subject to FBI investigation. Restrictions may apply depending on the nature of the business. The FBI may impose limitations or restrictions on the agent's involvements to prevent conflicts of interest. So that's a lot of legal mumbo jumbo right there.
So it's interesting. Do you know that you can't get a small business loan our loan from the Small Business Association. If
If you have a
there's
criminal record?
no, no, if there's any kind of
Oh, not
I
that I know that.
if it's a strip club or you sell dirty magazines or if there's any kind of like adult material involved,
Okay,
that's like a straight up question on the first 10 questions for their loan application.
right. So why we're bringing this up
That's a
is
little biased.
this FBI agent in Bethesda, Maryland, decided to open up a tattoo shop where he was tattooing in the evenings and on weekends. Well, I automatically went, well, that doesn't sound okay right off the bat. And Shane Enholm's take on it was, hey, here we go. We got another dude trying to drag the craft through the mud using his badge to do nefarious things. So this guy was on Instagram. Um, the tattoo shop was DC Fine Line in Bethesda, Maryland. He was doing tattooing. He did not disclose that he was tattooing to the FBI from the articles that I've read. Jesus, such horrible grammar. Um, he did not have a license to tattoo. So here we have federal agent already breaking two laws, really. And then on top of that, he was doing tattoos for things. And then he was also trying to get girls to do contracts for modeling. Well, we'll give you this tattoo if you come in and model. Now, there were two girls off the bat that went, hey, you know what? That's a pretty good deal. I'll model, I'll get a tattoo, no big deal. Well, then this guy, in his scumbagginess, decided to take it a step further. And he basically is now busted for SA on two females that were clients that came in for tattoo work. Apparently, now there's a third girl coming into play that's stepping forward. And the initial questions came up, and we're going to throw this out to you guys was, well, wait a minute. How what's the whole deal here? Was this an FBI thing where they were trying to set up for, to try to get like some money laundering scheme or trying to put the kibosh on other people that own tattoo shops? Wink, wink, nod, nod, if you know what I'm saying. That doesn't look like that's the case. This dude basically looks like he set this up to be a scumbag. Now, on top of that, okay, you were doing this thing where you were going to do this modeling. Okay, if that was legit, sure, whatever. It is what it is. But then you go and take it a step further, man, and now you're assaulting these females and then using your leverage of, hey, you did this contract, a non-disclosure contract, you can't say anything. And the initial thought was, when I was reading it, was, wait a minute, did they not go to the police at the beginning because they were like, well, he's an FBI agent? Or, you see what I'm saying? As I did some more digging today, at the time that this article, the multiple articles that I read today, they made it sound like the um the girls didn't know that he was an actual they didn't know he was an agent. So that takes that out of the equation. So in essence, really it comes down to the dude's just a scumbag
Yeah.
and dragging the craft of tattooing through the mud and kind of screwing the name up of tattooing, because now the average person's going to read this in the newspaper and all they're going to see is, and it's blatant, like I could pull up the article. I don't want to do that because it says it right in the title, but it's tattooing SA. right there in the title. So now people that don't know anything or outsiders that aren't involved in this are automatically going to put two and two together. And that's not right.
Yeah, we get painted with a brush.
Exactly.
Right.
So to me, it's just like, man, you're dragging down a thing that we love for your own scumbag stuff. Um, I don't know, man. Yeah. Tobias just said sleazebag, man. Ew. Exactly. Look, we're not going to sit here and act like, tattooing doesn't have its past and shit happened back in the day or whatever. But the fact is, you're a goddamn person that is law enforcement for all intents and purposes.
No, I mean, that's not for intensive purposes. He's law
Right,
enforcement.
right. I know, but what I'm saying is it's not like your local cop,
Right.
whatever. But you're supposed to be upholding the law, not taking advantage of women. Um, I don't know, man. I hope he gets. I hope he rots in jail, dude. Pretty nasty. I just, like I said initially, when I first started digging into this, I thought to myself, well, why would the FBI be doing something with tattooing? And the only thing that Justin and I could think of was like, money laundering or something like that. Like they were trying to dig into that, but it doesn't even sound like it wasn't like anything official. It was just some dude that was, you know, doing a part-time gig and, you know, taking advantage of women, man. Just scumbag, total scumbag. It actually pisses me off, man.
You know, it's
Sarah with the $5 super chat. Thank you,
thanks,
sir.
Sarah.
Much appreciated. Yeah.
No, I mean, and obviously the guy had, you know, issues of control, issues like had a demented, sick need for power, right? Because that's what they say a lot of SA is based on, like dominance and power. And yeah, that's a certain kind of psychology. That has nothing to do with tattooing. That could be anyone.
Yeah, I mean, literally, it could be, uh, any dude on the street, right?
I mean, I learned to tattoo in Trenton, New Jersey. So there were times when I mean, there were times in the 90s when things got hectic, you know, maybe not so much in the tattoo shop, but after after the tattoo shop closed.
Yeah, but that's different, dude. This is somebody that
Oh
is
no, no, I'm making I'm differentiating it. But even that kind of lifestyle thing that we were doing at the time, that was 25 years ago now. Like the days of like closing the drapes and like doing blow and doing whatever in the tattoo shop. Those are I think that's ancient history now.
right. I just, to me, I mean, here, look, I'm actually gonna bring it up real quick so everybody can see. You can Google it and read the whole story yourselves.
Not
Um,
tattooed.
I just don't wanna. I don't want to get into it because of the YouTube censorship and all that. But here is the guy. No tattoos, complete scumbag. Um, you know, I'll actually I'm gonna stop sharing it real quick. Let me see if I could try to read the article without setting off the buzzers. A special agent for the FBI was arrested for SA multiple women who he lured to his tattoo shop for supposed photo shoots. Uh, Eduardo Valdivia, 40, was suspended by the FBI pending a police investigation into the charges. He was arrested in Gaithersburg, Maryland on Monday and charged with 2 counts of second degree R word, 4 counts of fourth degree SA, and slew of other stuff that can't talk about it. In a statement released by the Montgomery County Department of Police, he's accused of the R word by two women, both 21 years old, who allege that the agent and tattoo shop owner lured them into the tattoo studio under the pretense of modeling opportunities with Exeter models. One of the women said that the person she had been communicating with on Instagram about the possible modeling job was named Laylo Brown, and both women thought they had been corresponding with another woman until they showed up at the DC Fine Line tattoo shop. Uh, this Valdivia owns the shop and leases space where the shop is being housed, but he doesn't have a valid license to run a tattoo shop connected to the shop's address. Come to find out, I'm not going to keep reading this, but come to find out that the dude actually was on trial a couple years ago for murder, and he got off. So I don't know, man. They need to really do a little quick revamp of what's going on with that, you know, uh, that group of over there. But so Tobias asked the question: for better or worse, has social media legitimatized? Man, I cannot speak today. Legitimized the tattoo world. Some of the best artists are able to post up and kind of set the bar. And then Drag just said, never trust a tattooer without tattoos. It's like going to a chef that's skinny.
So
So,
what was the first question?
for better or worse, has social media legitimized the tattoo world? Some of the best artists are able to post up and kind of set the bar.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's social. I mean, it's unprecedented impact.
I don't know if we ate too much turkey this weekend or what, man,
Yeah.
because
Tryptophan.
we're both stumbling all over our words.
So,
I think it has. Um, I think that it's opened the eyes to a lot of people that might not have been able to see some of the work that's out there, but it's also worse where it's created monsters. And what I mean by that is
there's always been predators.
no, 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 I don't mean that. I don't mean that. I mean these ego monsters.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? That are like these artists that are breaking their own arm to pat themselves on the back, thinking that they're the best thing that's ever come out of tattooing.
Right, but that's a sign of immaturity. Like that's a sign of immaturity as a tattooer. Like if you talk to Grimy does not, I mean, he's not like I'm the Grimy. I'm that guy that can do anything and does all this beautiful work. He's just kind of calm, humble because he's a mature tattooer. Like when you have nothing to prove anymore, not everything has to be a huge blown out back piece and not everything has to be a full sleeve. When you can just enjoy tattooing, it's a sign of maturity in a tattooer, I believe.
Okay. And then as far as, the good of it, obviously it's opening up the world to a whole different group of people. Chris Hawkins with the 9.99 super chat. Thank
Thanks,
you,
Chris.
sir. Um it's opened up a whole world, man, to people that may have not seen what's out there with tattooing and different styles that are out there. And I mean, there's definitely been some good. I know that there's been older tattoo artists that were around way before, like Ink Master and Miami Ink and all that say, hey, look, man, it actually it brought a lot of business in. It opened up doors for people that never thought they were going to get tattooed before.
Yeah.
Um, but
And you have to,
then,
I mean, you have to think too, Buck, back in the day, right? What was there? Japanese, black and gray, traditional,
mhm,
right? And now there's 10 more different kinds of tattooing as more and more people have gotten involved in it. And more people that have a educated background in art.
right.
So, I mean, That's positive.
I look at social media as it replaced magazines, going to conventions. I'm trying to think of other like common. So in essence, you don't have to pay for advertisement anymore.
Right.
You now have instant advertising at the touch of your fingers. Um, you can put up the instant, hey man, I just did this banging tattoo today. Check it out. Whereas before that artist would do that piece, think it was amazing, and put it in their book. So next time somebody walked in the door, they could see it. Or if they were lucky enough, they got into a magazine.
And then, if you consider, like, all over Instagram, I mean, there's all these people that will teach you as a tattooer how to manipulate Instagram and Facebook, and I guess Snapchat too. I don't know how to actually, like, use it as a marketing tool as much as you can to push stuff out there. And when I watch some of those videos, I'm like, I would never have thought about this.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, I understand
There's a
putting,
whole art to the whole YouTube,
yes,
Instagram, Facebook, like, you know, uh, you can't just throw pictures up anymore and expect it to blow up and be like, "Oh, this is the greatest thing." I've seen a lot of guys that are, or I've seen a lot of artists, men and women, that do amazing work and they post it, and it just doesn't get the traction because they just don't have their Instagram or whatever game up to snuff.
and to touch on a thing that we were talking about before, if it's just a fact within tattooing that uh if I do the same tattoo on a guy as I do, say, on a beautiful woman, I mean, that's gonna get more attention. That's just a fact.
Because it's on a
It's on
attractive female
it's on
instead of a dude.
right, it's on
Yeah,
an
for
attractive
sure,
female.
for sure. I mean, that's, the tale is
All this time.
right, sex sells.
Yeah, and I mean, and think about all the fetish models that are on Instagram now,
Right.
like the fully bodysuited.
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
So, Tobias said, "Do you guys think that the tattoo world is experiencing a boom right now and will inevitably fall off in the coming generations in popularity?" So, Justin and I have actually kicked this around a couple times on this show. Um, I think that Mike Schwaggart, we were talking to him one time, and he felt as though it was going to kind of go back into the underground
It was
again.
gonna go underground again, yeah.
And the reasoning why, from my understanding, because I said to him, "Well, why do you say that? What makes you think that?" And he said that because tattooing has become so popular, and really it is. I mean, you probably have an easier time finding somebody that's or a harder time finding somebody that's not tattooed than you are to find somebody that is,
Right.
right?
I mean, the new rebellion is gonna be not being tattooed.
Right. So I think that there's a potential that it could possibly go that route where, hey, younger generations, and it's weird, man. So let me throw this at you, Tobias, because this is a whole nother level, but it's on the same lines, right? I have a nephew, um, he's 24, 25, um, doesn't drink, doesn't smoke. And I'm thinking to myself, I said to my sister, I said, dude, by the time I was 25, I was a full blown alcoholic. So I think this younger generation is just, they're not digging their, which is a good thing, by the way. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I just don't think that they have the same stuff. They're not into the same things that we were when we were younger. Now, granted, I'm 50 years old, but I guarantee you, if you ask a 30-year-old in the room right now, they would probably say the same thing. I mean, I just think that there is a possibility it could go that route where it's become so.
I mean, if you think about the hippies of the '60s, right? It's all good, everything goes. And then when I grew up in the '80s, right? There was this huge sort of conservative push among the youth, right? We didn't want to be hippies.
Yeah.
Suddenly, like, I don't know, more conservative values became more mainstream. I think that that's what happens is that nobody wants to listen to the music that their older brother listened to, you
Mm.
know?
So he said, Tobias said, Lau said in a documentary he did that he doesn't think the current popularity is sustainable.
So the thing with the current popularity is that to open a tattoo shop is easy.
Mm,
Opening a tattoo shop is easy peasy, right? Sitting in a tattoo shop not making any money is not easy.
right.
You know, Going stir crazy because, nobody's walking through the door. It takes time to learn to deal with that and to learn how to channel those energies, you know, like the you have to be skilled with your downtime.
So
And
there's
uh and that's, I think there's going to be a huge falling off over the next couple months.
there's a girl that's on Instagram. I don't know what her name is, but she makes a ton of reels. She's a tattoo artist. And she asked a question and she was like, legitimately, I'm asking you guys, how do you deal with the downtime? And if you don't have downtime and you're booked and you're one of those people that's like, oh, well, I'm booked out till next year, what are you doing different than the rest of us? And, it was interesting to see some of those comments in there. And it's crazy to me, but I do see it, man. I see guys that are veteran tattoo artists that are phenomenal tattoo artists that are slow right now, and then there's other people that aren't slow. So is it because they've leaned into the social media thing and they're just like pushing it constantly,
I
constantly,
think that that's the
constantly?
difference, yeah.
It could be, right? But then the reality of it is, and I saw a lot of people say this on this girl's reel, tattoos are not essential.
Yeah.
People right now, with the way the economy is worldwide, not just here, worldwide, um, are struggling to, put food on the table, to pay their bills.
Yeah, I mean, we had to eat the dog.
Justin had to eat his dog. He was gonna starve to death. He had to eat the dog. So, what makes you think that you're gonna go out and get a tattoo if you can't swing your bills right now? It just comes down to finances, man.
Plus with the older tattooers, right? Uh it's a young man's I mean, younger people get tattooed, and so a 20-year-old is going to understand, like, there's a local tattoo shop, and I always wondered what the name was, and then I found out that the name of their shop was based on, like, a Death Cab for Cutie song or something like that,
Okay.
Acacia Strain or whatever it was. And I'm so out of touch with the 20 somethings that I had no idea
Mm,
that. So it's a young man's game, man. Everybody my age, if you're 50 and getting tattooed, you're definitely in the minority now. Like,
okay.
you're a person that loves tattooing.
So, just a couple comments to throw out here. Fat Cracker said SEO, search engine optimization, and it does work, but it depends on what platform you're on, man. Some of that doesn't lean on it as much as that used to, man. That used to be huge, but some of that stuff is kind of one of the way of the dodo bird. Uh, Drag said maybe it get illegal again. Never know. So that's always no. That'll never happen.
No, not
Um,
well, maybe in Canada.
there might be countries where that could possibly happen. I'm sure. Uh, Chris Hawkins said, "I'm from a small town that's never had a shop, and now we have two."
Oh, I was going to say I'll move there if there's no shop.
Tobias said, "Being relatively new to the research side of tattooing, I think the diehards who know their stuff go to seek out specific artists they like." Chris said, "I agree, Tobias." Um, I think the folks, Tobias said, I think the folks who get the pocket watch and line, etc., just go to anyone, really. I think there's a loyalty side to it. Might be hard for a newcomer to bust through that being a shop where other artists are established. So I think that kind of goes with what we were saying earlier. Same, I guess, where they're going to be the people that are going to search out the experience, and then they're going to be the people that are going to search out the tattoo. They're not going to give a shit about who they go to. It's going to be, hey, can this guy reproduce this tattoo that I want to get? They don't care if they talk to the person. They'll put their goddamn Beats headphones on and sit there and just get tattooed and don't even care if the tattoo artist says one word. Then there's going to be people like myself, Justin, and a few others where it's about the experience, about the conversation, about the artists themselves. Um,
I
I,
want to like the guy tattooing me.
yeah, man, I think there's a lot of value in even sitting down and getting tattooed by somebody and understanding the tree that they came from, who taught you how to tattoo, who taught your guy to tattoo, where does your tattooing tree trace back to? You know what I mean? That's cool. That's good stuff. But then again, I I'm constantly reminded of this on this channel. Not everybody is as into tattooing history as I am. It blows my mind, but look, apparently not everybody gives a shit about tattoo history. It is what it is.
I mean, yeah, new and new. There are definitely people, the newest and the shiniest thing. But
Drag said here in Europe, it's not stopping the next time soon. It's growing still. There you go.
nice,
And then Chris said we'd be glad to have you here,
nice.
where he's
Thank you,
in his little town.
thank you, Chris.
There you go, man. You could bust out a brand new town in Endsville, such and such, Ohio.
Yeah, yeah,
You can tattoo the Amish.
dude. I'm going mobile. My kid's gonna, as soon as my kid's 19, I'm out. I'm going mobile.
Hey, man, I do. Uh, Bill Keithley, who
Yeah,
did a couple of mine. He's got the red diamond tattooing. It's the little murder bus that he's got.
exactly.
He loves it, man. He doesn't have to deal with shops. He travels all over, does a bunch of different bike shows, and it's a legit shop in the bus. I don't know. It's pretty cool. I would
So,
be a little skeptical if I didn't know him. Be honest with you, dude. Like, you know what I mean? It reminds me of like when I was a kid. So there was
and
this.
people are like, "We have tattoos in here. Do
No,
you
no,
want some
no, man.
tattoos?"
So I grew up in this little small town outside of Pittsburgh, right? And the county fair was always a big deal every year. And every year, this old guy would set up shop in this little
Yeah,
caravan-y type of thing. And people were getting tattooed by him. And I was always like I'm talking about little kid, intrigued. I would sit there and just watch the people and be like, oh my God, that's so cool. So even as a little kid, I thought tattoos were freaking awesome.
same.
I wished I could figure out who the guy was, because I'd be curious to see, was he a well-known tattoo artist that I just didn't know as a little kid? Did he come from one of those trees that we're talking about? Or, maybe one of the back in the day he was like under Bergram, or you know what I'm saying? But even then though, there was always people that were like, dude, you don't want to get a tattoo from that guy. He's in this little thing, man. You know what I mean? And so I don't know. Um Tobias said that would be awesome, a mobile tattooer.
So before we kill it, right?
Tobias said you could do weddings. Like the
Yes.
photo booth guy, get tattooed by the guy in the corner. Dude,
So
that would be
I
priceless,
actually,
man.
because I'm a minister, I actually thought about that at one point, like punk rock weddings, right? I can marry you, then I can tattoo you.
You throw a little ska band in there.
Yeah,
So Bill O'Connell said, I started back getting tattooed 2 years ago. I'm 61 years old. I hope to get fully covered.
the exception that proves the rule.
Artists are half my age. There you go, Bill. You're a trooper, brother.
Yeah.
See, man, there you go. You just proved you wrong.
Well, the
Exception to the
exception,
rule.
yeah, exception that proves the rule.
Anyway, man, we hope you guys enjoyed the show tonight, man. I know it was a little touchy subject, but I thought it was worthy of bringing up, because I hate to see somebody else bringing down this thing in a scumbag way, ruining this thing that we all love, man. dude needs to get his ass handed to him when he gets to the wait, that's his if he's guilty. Innocent until proven guilty.
Innocent until proven guilty.
I,
I mean, I
I
know
digress.
I know I don't really need to say this to anybody that watches our channel, but I
Are you gonna
mean,
get emotional?
no, I mean, on the one hand,
Are we gonna
right?
cry?
On the one hand, you don't want to talk shit about tattooers,
Nah.
right? I don't want to give any tattooer a bad mouth, but on the other hand, if I'm in a shop and I get any kind of feeling like something's off, something's wrong, I am out the door. Like
Yes.
if I feel like even if I feel like I don't know if I feel like disrespected or disregarded, you know what I mean?
Right.
And not saying that the dude is busy, but if the dude's like playing Call of Duty and won't pause his game to give me 3 minutes, and yeah. So kids, if there's any kind of weird feelings in a tattoo shop, bail,
Yeah.
right? Those days are over.
And
And tell your friends.
you know, if you feel like something is not right, leave. Something does happen, call the cops. Do what you got to do. Like I hope that if there's other females out there that experience that at that guy's shop, I hope they do come forward
I hope they
because it
come
sounds
forward
like
too.
more women are coming forward because that crap needs to go. Those people need to get nipped in the bud and removed. And with that, we'll see y'all next week.
Stay safe.
Peace.